Chat, come at me. Drop all the expletives you want, but I think I'm calling a Galaxy loss in this one.
To win a touch, Puig still not fully cleared. It's in. He's not going to always play the riskier path. Puig again, Jovic in behind again. He scored, and this time it will count. Really good from the Galaxy. Peck, it's going to come through for Gabriel Peck. Peck could go for goal. He does go for goal. It's in.
Welcome to the podcast, hablemos de lo nuevo. For the G's, by the G's, ¿qué pasa en el terreno? Vienen jugadores y se van, traiga lo nuevo, a huevo. Doesn't matter where you from, Salvador, Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. Todo mi latino, come and listen for an hour. TikTok, que traemos lo que quiere, todo lo que pasa dentro y fuera de las redes. Really? You don't know what it is. Reportamos con la lupa what we see at the digs. En las buenas y en las malas yo diré la verdad. Si cometen un error o tienen habilidad, la calidad del rival cuando viene a jugar. Facts. Yo no me muerdo la lengua. Got love for the crest in the city I came from. Los campeones de campeones y con copas mi race. No empezamos el programa, soy la voz de LA One. Soy la voz de LA One. Love. Yeah.
Hello, hola, and buenas to all you LA Galaxy fans out there, wherever you may be. You must be feeling real groovy. To all you Lacuna Galaxians, thanks so much for always hanging with us. Let me introduce myself. I'm one of your co-hosts. I'm Rob Jalon. You can find my written work at Last Word on Sports, and you can find me on the interwebs at El Escudero de LA. Today, we'll be reacting to the Los Angeles Galaxy's incredible 3-2 come-from-behind victory over Sporting KC in a match that no one on this pod had them winning. Here to help us sort through all the feelings is special guest Eddie NAGs from News Across the Galaxy. But before we get to him, let me go ahead and bring back and introduce you to my co-host for the past year. It's hard to believe it's been a year already. My Gitano Perdido, the ride or die, one and only G and homie, Ananda Kirana. ¿Cómo te sientes, papá? Especially after that incredible win.
Pues muchas gracias, Mr. Got It Wrong. Thank you for that intro. Love that. No, man, I am feeling, I'm a natural high, right? I think all us Galaxy fans, I've seen Galaxy Twitter all day. You know, we are just on a natural high. We're just riding this wave right now. And you know what, Rob? Like, I'm just enjoying the moment. I just want to enjoy this moment because it's been a long time for us Galaxy fans. And boy, we're on the up, man. We're on the up. Are we back? We'll talk about that later. We'll go back to that. We'll get back to that.
Yeah. Geez, it's I keep saying it has to be about after a month and a half. But you know, they're showing evidence that they could be back. What's that meme? Put out the word, we back up. You know what? We might be. But you know what, Ananda, you didn't do your thing, man, and shame on you. I have to remind you, you got to do your thing, man. Come on.
I know we're in a little lacunita too, so yeah, I should have gotten the housekeeping out of the way. But I'm it's all feels right now, Robert. It's all feels.
Ooh, you're like I can't even think straight right now. I just need to let anything out right now.
I mean, speaking of the feels, shout out to and respect to the NAG boys, and of course we got Eddie on today. But this might be all feelings, no facts, Robert. I might go that way, so we'll see.
Okay.
But no, man. So first of all, just housekeeping stuff. You guys know what it is. You can always follow, block me, or stalk me at Ananda Galaxiana. You guys can always find us on the socials at Lacuna Galaxiana, and of course, if you found our YouTube, if you're first time here, welcome. If you're a repeat customer or a repeat G, just coming to listen to some Galaxy and not do any group therapy, but basically brag about how great our team is, then welcome back. And it's nice to have you guys. And yeah, you guys can always, help us out, guys. Like, we're trying to build this little channel, trying to build this little pod. Give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and definitely
Tell
share this video.
everybody.
Yeah, put someone on. Definitely put someone on. And that would really help. We don't ask for much, and that's the only thing Rob and I asked for, even though we're just a couple hacks just talking about Galaxy. So,
Truth.
so yeah, really, really appreciate it, guys. And of course, como siempre, antes de olvidarme, buenos días, tardes o noches, y bienvenidos a otra la cunita. Otra la cunita, because we got to do a little match reaction. And you know what, man? Like, let's get into it, because I know you want to get through a few things, and then let's bring on our guest, our special guest.
Yeah, so really quick, Ananda already let you know where to find us. If you're here, you've already found us. But stay tuned for that Seattle match preview on Thursday at 9 p.m. We'll have special guests from Sounders at Heart, Nico Moreno and Jeremiah Oshan. They're going to be on to pretty much break down that match with us. We just got done with one bogey team. We're going to another one. Seattle is always a tough match. Those cats will be here to help us find out what's going down in Seattle, and perhaps why they're not the Seattle that we know and absolutely despise. But anyway, really quick, I'm chilling in Glendale right now. I know Ananda's chilling in Ontario. We would love to know where you guys are listening to this pod from. Let us know. Drop those area codes. Drop those cities. Drop those clicas. But yeah, tell us where you guys are at. Where you guys are listening to this humble little pod from. And then also, this one is big. Your one word match reaction. And I'm gonna give that one to Ananda right now too. So let us know, chat, what your one word match reaction is. I want to know how you're feeling about this come from behind win. You know what? If your team is unbeaten in MLS, you got your head held up high right now. So hold that head up high, every G out there. But Ananda, one word match reaction. Hit it.
I'm gonna steal. You know what they say? Great Picasso always said, "Great artist." What is it? Great artist something about like
good
artist
borrow.
copy. No, good. Yeah, good artist copy, great artist steal. So I'm gonna steal from La Presi.
Wait, who did you say? Who did you say that was from?
Wasn't that Picasso? That's what I
thought it was John Lennon.
Hey, you know what? He probably stole it from Picasso.
He probably stole it. Well, yeah, I've heard it as good composers borrow, great composers steal.
Go. You know what? Yeah. There's probably like multiple variations and bootleg versions of that. But you know what? I am going to steal from La Presi Gloria, who was in the chat a couple days ago.
Hey,
and she
shout out Presi.
And she simply said, "What?" Like literally, what? Like what the heck just happened? What? How? What? How? Like questions, right? So that's all I got to say. Because I mean, if you gave me one word, I mean, there's a lot of words to describe that game. But all I got to say is what?
Yeah, we were pretty bummed out about everything up until around the 70th minute, and then who did the night turn around? But yeah, we're about to get into this match reaction and hit you with some Eddie. But really quick, we have some folk from Los Angeles State, Winnie in the San Fernando Valley. We have some Seattle area G's that are going to be representing on Saturday as well. Nice. Hawthorne, where you at? The 626 and the OC. Was good with you? The 818 in LA. God, thanks so much for listening to this pod, guys. We can't thank you enough. And reminder, Austin will be Ananda's first away match ever to watch the G's. So remember the game. SADA. See Ananda, drink Ananda. You see this guy, you make him drink. Just like that. But he's probably drinking water right now. But all right, let's get into some shout outs here. The most important shout out of the day is happy birthday to my son, Kobe Cosmo.
Look at that.
He is the apple of my eye. He is what I live and breathe for. Geez, man. 4 years with him. I love every day, and God bless him. He is my light. So happy birthday to Kobe Cosmo, my true son, and also a true G. You guys see him rocking a little Galaxy jersey right there. So happy birthday, Kobe. Happy birthday as well to Julian Aude. The Argentine defender turned 21 yesterday. Here you have him. If you're watching this pod, here you have him holding up that rose. That was a big day for him. Oh, happy birthday, Kobe, from the wifey. So that was a big day for him. And today or yesterday was a big day for him as well. Turning 21 only happens once. I don't know if it carries the same significance in Argentina that it does here, but congratulations to him. Also, congratulations to VCFC, aka Galaxy 2, for their 3-1 win over Sporting KC2. They are also undefeated through 2 matches, all small sample size, but hey, you know what? It starts with 2, then it gets to 3. They sit currently in 3rd place. You had Aaron Bibu, Johnny Perez, and Gino Vivi get the goals in this one. Bibu tallied a goal and an assist, created a game-high 4 chances, logged 3 successful dribbles, won 9 of 12 duels, and earned 3 fouls. Defender Mauricio Cuevas actually had a good game as well. He had himself a game. He notched an assist, completed 67 of 77 passes for an 87% pass accuracy rating, won 5 of 5 duels, notched 2 successful dribbles, won 4 possessions, and registered a game high 4 interceptions. It's really good and honor to see the Galaxy getting out some of their depth. I will call it like some of the more fringe first team players out there. 9 LA Galaxy Academy products appeared in this match. 17-year-old LA Galaxy Academy midfielder Gabriel Arnold made his MLS Next Pro debut. He also debuted a couple of games ago in the Open Cup. So congratulations to them. Guys, the hard games keep on coming for the Galaxy. They have Seattle coming up just the week after. They will have another edition of El Tráfico against LAFC. The Galaxy will be throwing a watch party sponsored by Modelo. That'll be happening on April 6th, the day of the game. That'll be going down at Dignity Health Sports Park. This is actually one of my favorite photos from the entire El Tráfico. Man, what a moment. Speaking of moments, congratulations to the U.S., who put up another 2-0 against their arch rival here in CONCACAF, Mexico. So two really, really nice goals. Tyler Adams gets a screamer, a golazo from, it was this peach, man. And then Gio Reyna ices it with a karate kick type goal here. And the United States wins their 3rd title on the trot here. They get their I think this was their 2nd Nations League victory, and more importantly, it comes over their arch rival Mexico. So congratulations to the US. But the reason we're all here, this match preview, so we can geek out and we can have some fun. You know what? Without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce Eddie NAGs. He's here to help us react to the Galaxy's incredible comeback win. He's also one of the creators of News Across Galaxy. He's a true G. I mean, we always be seeing him out there. So thank you so much. Thank you. Exactly. And not only that, like, you know, we talk about it. One of the pioneers for podcasts in Galaxylandia, and we probably wouldn't be where we are without your influence, man. So welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. It's my pleasure, and thank you for the really nice introduction.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you for all your years of service. I mean, Ananda and I do this pod twice a week, and man, is it work. So I know you've been doing it for a while too. So I mean, you know just how much work it is. So thank you, man. I have asked the chat already how they felt about this victory. Give me your 1-word match reaction for this comeback win.
Surprising.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with that. That one is pretty accurate. Did you predict a Galaxy win before the match? Were you expecting it?
No, I actually thought this is the L. This was going to be the loss. You know, everything was against us, right? The fact that Vanny hadn't defeated Peter Vermees in his career. That we haven't won in Kansas in, I think, 4 or 5 years or something crazy like that. And well, before the before the match day, I think we all thought Johnny Russell was going to be suiting up as well.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
there's also the Johnny Russell factor. So I thought with all those things, I'm like, this is the first down, and I think I was ready for it. And I was like, as long as it's a hard fought loss, it's okay. But again, it's surprising, right? It's that word is, I think it's pretty accurate for a lot of Galaxy fans.
Oh man, I mean,
And
I said it at the top of the show.
Not just this game, this whole season, man. We'll poke at that later too when we talk about just out of this game and our feelings coming into it. Because I listen to you guys like every now and then. I know lately you've had some pretty strong opinions about just sort of how we've gone through the season. So I definitely want to have a conversation with you about those, because I think it's pretty interesting, and I think it's how you feel is a good portion of how the Galaxy fan base is feeling. So I think it's going to resonate a lot with chat and everyone who listens to this on playback for sure.
Importantísimo, Eddie.
Yes.
¿Qué hiciste después de la victoria? ¿Cómo celebraste?
¿Cómo celebré? What was that? That was
No te acuerdas.
No, I'm a good boy, actually, believe it or not. I might have gone to sleep. This was
all the energy was just left.
All the roller coaster ride. Yeah.
I was exhausted. That was just too much for me, and I had to come down from cloud 9.
The emotional trauma of going through all that for 70 minutes and being like, man, I remember this from last year. Well, we have a segment on the pod here. It's basically your Galaxy love story. It's called I Used to Love Her. So tell us in your own words, how did you fall in love with La Tóxica?
Oh, I'm actually 96, baby. I'm actually a product of good marketing, I want to say. My growing up, I'm half Mexican, half Salvadorian. Mostly we hang out with my mom's side, the Mexican side. Obviously, we got to do what mom says. So I was all Liga MX. Actually, used to be a Mexico fan. Obviously, not anymore.
Yes.
Congratulations,
I US.
I didn't even know, US had a national team. I was so like just this is soccer, it's the football, that's all there is. And then the Galaxy rolled around, and we actually I was actually at the very first game. I have a picture at that game. Little Eddie wearing a questionable outfit, white shorts and a white Nike shirt, all white. I don't know what I was thinking, but don't judge me, I was a little kid. And
they probably dressed you in that, man. Like I know my parents dressed me in some questionable stuff, man. Like shout out Bugle Boy.
Oh yeah. Oh, Bugle. Oh man, we used to have a Bugle Boy warehouse down the street, so I know all about Bugle Boy too well.
Shout out Miller's Outpost. Anyways,
exactly. Real quick, I'm gonna interrupt to bring a comment from the chat.
Breaking news.
Profe Alex Reese just broke this news here in the chat. Pro refs are back. The CBA has been agreed. It looks like the scab refs are gone. No more DJ refs, no more part-time refs. Now we can go back to disliking the pro referees. So,
Uncle, where
exactly.
you at?
So I'm sorry, Eddie. Hit us with the rest of that love story.
Oh, it's totally fine. So I just remember cramming an Oldsmobile and taking the 710 all the way down to the Rose Bowl and doing the soccer fest, getting my face painted. I specifically remember a cutout of, I think it was like Kramer, David Kramer, yeah, the goalie. And I was like, oh, check your wingspan compared to his, and all that just made me fall in love. And then just the excitement, because year one was something different, right? It was something special.
Right.
Soccer was here, right? And there was like Kobe Jones. There was, I think there was like a group of characters, you can say, right, that a little kid could easily fall in love with. You had El Tanque, you had Kobe Jones, he was this cool, quick guy. Jorge Campos and this bright ass
Jersey?
uniform, you know, who I was already familiar with because of the Mexico national team, and they had some Cienfuegos. I'm like, man, that guy's my size. I can be playing in there, you know. So, it was just love at first sight. So that's from there. Just the rest was history. I've
Qué
never,
bonito es el amor. Qué bonito
right?
es el amor, bro.
Y luego la tóxica, bueno.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've
You know,
had our rough years, you know, but we're working it out.
Ups and downs, exactly. Yeah, we're in counseling right now. So you know, we also ask along with that who your favorite G of all time is, and then one that I've liked recently. Who would be on your Galaxy Mount Rushmore?
Oof. All right. I'll start with my favorite G. It's gonna be Donovan. Because
Captain?
Donovan, I think Donovan has just changed just US soccer in general, right? He had no gimmick. Guy was awkward in camera. You know, this guy just played. That's all he did. The guy just balled, you know, he sacrificed, or I don't know if sacrificed, he wanted to be home, but I remember some commentator told the story, or some US pundit told his story and called him like a great sacrifice because he stayed in the league, right, where he could have gone many places in Europe.
Absolutely.
So for me, Donovan definitely is my all-time favorite, and obviously he was here for 3 titles, so that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I do think that we're not far off on that word though, sacrifice, because you're right. I mean, he went to Europe a couple of times, and he proved that he could play there. I mean, just a stint at Everton was, you know, proof enough that he could hang in the Premiership, and he grew the game immensely in the United States and here in Los Angeles. I mean, it was, you know, when Bex came over, it was Landon that was like, look, son, like, this is the way we do things, you know, this is what's important to the team. And it was Landon that kind of like stood up to David Beckham. And then, you know, they got on the same page, and, you know, the rest is history. But I mean, so who else is on your Rushmore here?
Let's see. What is that? I mean, I'm sound dumb here. Is it 4 or 5 choices?
4.
So okay. 4. So obviously you got Donovan. You got to put Beckham because of what he did for the league, and Bruce, right? Bruce Arena is on there.
First time we've had a coach on there. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Bruce is I mean, he gave us our best years, right? Oh man. The last one
more. Choose wisely.
I'll go with just an obvious answer. I'm gonna go Kino, right? Kino has been the most what's the word, efficient DP, right, in MLS history. The guy came in and he won from day one. So yeah,
arguably the best DP in league history for sure. Oh, nice. You know what? I like the way you think, sir. Good stuff.
Yeah, good on you for putting Bruce. Good. That's the first one that we've gotten, so that's good. That's good.
And you know what? You're right. He was here for probably the most fruitful spell in club history. You know, I mentioned at the top when we brought you on that, you know, you've been doing News Across Galaxy for a minute. Like I said, I mean, you were out there when there wasn't really that much out there, you know, so you guys put down roots. You guys are pioneers. We've heard from Bryant NAGs how everything started, but go ahead, tell us in your own words. give us the other POV.
Yeah, I mean, I remember it pretty well. I want to say a lot was boredom. A lot of it was boredom. So just a quick backstory. Myself and Chewy, the producer of the show, we used to work together. We worked together in a company where we worked in marketing together, and we had no experience. We didn't know what we were doing, but you know, the checks were clearing, so whatever.
Like, all right, make it to your mega, right?
yeah. And we met there, and like we actually shot like little commercials, and like I would draw a lot of like graphic. I used to use GIMP. I don't know if you guys are familiar with GIMP. That's like free Photoshop, a limited Photoshop. And I used to like work miracles. They used to shock people. I used to be able to doing that. So me and him worked really well together. So we actually became friends through that job. And I I just think we were both creative, and we just had like this creative itch, and we didn't know what to do. And I was a Galaxy fan, and I think only News. No, sorry, News. Where that's us. Corner of the Galaxy was like the only other podcast around. And to be honest, I was never into podcasting. I didn't really know what it was, and it's like I'm a big fan of Corner of the Galaxy. It's not a knock on him, but I didn't even know it existed. So my source was like, let me watch ESPN all day or the news and wait till the last, part of it so I could hear 2 minutes about the Galaxy. So I was like, well, there's a need, like the creation, when you create something, the first question you have to answer is why, right? And it's because there's a need. So that was pretty much it. If you ever look back at the first episodes, it was scripted and it was very like robotic, and it's like it's terrible. I cringe whenever I look back at those episodes. Those are like 10-minute episodes too. And we took
how many years ago?
Maybe 6. It's been a long time or more.
Don't worry, Eddie. Rob still cringes at himself. Don't worry.
I don't listen to
he doesn't
myself
listen
at all, bro.
Yeah.
And
don't.
God, if we get to 6 years, it's because that man hasn't strangled me. So if we don't get there, it's you guys know who did it for sure. So okay, go ahead. So you were in the middle of kind of like telling us how you linked up with the producer, right?
Yeah. And we actually took a hiatus. Like life just got in the way, and for all of us, we all lived pretty far apart from each other, and it was like it became a little difficult. And then things settled, and there was discussions. I hope and I wish someday this guy comes forward, then remembers this moment. We hadn't been on, we hadn't recorded in like over a year, and we went to a game, and I go to the restroom to use the restroom and not the urinal, and some guy like in the far left urinal yells out "News across the galaxy." And I was like, damn, it was like after like a year. Yeah. And then I came out, and I told the guys a story. And from there, like the wheels started turning. And at that point I was already aware of like Corner of the Galaxy, and Corner of the Galaxy is very like more professional like vibe, and I told them, I was like, hey, we should go live. Let's be TV rated TVM, let's go out there and do us, and that was
Galaxy
it. Exactly.
Yeah, no, Ananda loves the all facts thing that you guys do.
All feelings, no facts. I love love that. That's so you guys. That's so you guys. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean it's great, man, because you mentioned like what's the first thing you ask, why, and it's cool because you guys were able to give another offering, and now fast forward all these years, like I said, I mean, you guys are one of the pioneers along with Josh and Corner of the Galaxy, and now there's a bunch of content for Galaxy fans. So now, whereas you were praying for like 2 minutes on ESPN for just a little bit of Galaxy content, now like there's Galaxy content to your heart's content, and it's because of people like you guys at NAG and Josh at Corner of the Galaxy, who were out there and doing their thing. But you know what? You guys have made it to 6 years. You guys have seen a bunch of stuff go down in Galaxylandia. I know that Saturday night was probably among, like you said, the most surprising. So let's get into this recap, guys. We'll start with this lineup here. So Zavaleta replaced Martin Cáceres, if you guys remember. Martin Cáceres picked up that red card, preserving the point in the tie against St. Louis. Gabriel Peck made his first career start for the LA Galaxy. He logged 90 minutes of action, and Cirio got the start over Gaston Brugman again. We'll go ahead and ask Eddie here a couple of things about this lineup. Would you have gone with, first off, because this is something that Anand and I were advocating for in the lead up, would you have gone with Gaston over Edwin in this one?
Not yet. Definitely not yet. I heard you guys talking about it too. I was like, I wonder if they're gonna ask me this. And how am I gonna answer that? It's not yet, because one is Sergio's been, I think he's been great, right? And it's kind of messed up to just like pull them, right? I think they both offer two different styles of play on the field, and this young man has come in and just like owned that spot. So to just like pull him out of a lineup because Brugman, who's not in form, is ready to go, I think could be discouraging for a young player. So I think as long as it's not broke, why fix it? So I would have not started Brugman yet. Yeah.
Yeah, Ananda, after watching the match, still of the opinion that Gaston should have gotten the start, or did it work out how it was supposed to work out?
I mean, guys, it's tough, right? Hindsight's always 2020. We can say here, here, there, and everywhere, and we're not oracles, but looking back at it, I honestly think that it played out the way it probably should have played out. I feel like Eddie said, I think out of merit, I really think Cerillo deserved the start. Although you, myself, and even C Miles last episode, I think we called for Gaston only because I felt like I had a feeling like Kansas City was just going to come out lights out, like out of the gate. And they did. Right. And you need like an experienced head back there, especially in that middle midfield. We know they're going to press. We know they've got a lot of engines in that midfield and even the attack. You need someone experienced back there. And as I said before, too, Cerillo, last couple of games, he's made a few mistakes. He's been caught out. He's been scouted a little bit to see where his weaknesses are. And, the proof's in the pudding. When Gaston came in, it completely changed the game. We didn't have to rely on no more of for a double pivot. Riqui didn't have to drop back so much. He was in the attack where he needs to be, because even though he's playing defense this year, Ricky's not a defender by trade or by nature by any means. So, proof was in the pudding, and ultimately it was the right decision. And by the way, I have to give credit to Greg Vanny for making that substitution early enough. I mean, you and I were in the watch party together, Robert. I was like, Coach, put him in now.
Estaba muriendo.
It was halftime, Eddie, and I was like, put him in now. Like, we are just struggling so bad. But you know what? He made the call 60 minutes, and we got the win.
Speaking of, and like Ananda said, we were at this watch party at the York. Shout out to Brian, who put that one together, and it was really, really good seeing some G's over here on the Highland Park area, Glendale, Pasadena area, and shout out to Tony too. It was wonderful meeting you. Second question here on this lineup here, guys. What did you guys think of Gabriel Peck's first start and first 90 minutes? Let's go with Eddie.
What did I think? I think it's I think we have to be patient. I think the guy is young. The guy is green. I think he's gonna be great. I think he wants to be a star, but I hope there's someone there in the Galaxy that's like telling him, take it easy. You're gonna get there. I mean, this is his first big move. He probably feels a lot of pressure. He's the highest transfer fee in Galaxy history. This is his big move in his career. The performance wasn't great. I'll be honest. I feel that Fagundes would definitely been more serviceable, but I'm gonna wait and hopefully it shows. And paying that much money for a transfer, the kid has to be special, and I want to believe that Will Kuntz and friends know what they're doing up there.
Yeah, they haven't gotten it wrong yet. So yeah, I gotta believe that it's a small sample size, and we gotta be patient, like you said. Ananda, how did you feel about that first 90 minutes?
Well, you know what, Robert, you're the one always asking the questions. I'm going to ask you, Papa. How did you feel? Because I know you and I,
how
like,
the tables have turned.
I know you and I, like, when we were watching it in the game, we didn't talk about him too much. I think we were focused on other areas, but I don't know. What did you think? Was it expected? It was his first game, first 90 minutes.
Since we're doing the one word thing, I'll say underwhelming, and underwhelming because just because we got Joe Pants and he looked electric, and from go, right? But you know what, on the flip side, he looked electric from go, but his last two games haven't been his first three games. So it is underwhelming. However, I do recognize that he hasn't had like a full, preseason with the team. He hasn't had a lot of time with the team, and like Eddie said, he's green. So I mean, we got to give him time. He is talented by what we've seen for Vasco in and then for Brazil in the South American qualifying tournament. So the talent is there. Now we just gotta have that translate to being on the field. And you know what? He was instrumental in getting the game winning goal. So
Yeah, good point.
He didn't do all that much for 90, but then when it mattered, he served up the ball that got Mark Delgado the game winning goal. So that's what I think. But a little bit of match stats here for you guys. What's up, Ananda?
No, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, if you're doing the one word thing, I was gonna say my word was expected, right? It's just his first games, first 90 minutes. Remember, guys, like he's not used to traveling like what 3 hours and to play a game, right? MLS is still new to him. I think he's still getting his feet wet. Remember, I mean, he's probably still off the high of just getting married. There's a lot of personal things too, probably, but give him time. I agree with Eddie on this one. Just give him time. I think we got to be patient with him. I think out of the 2 DP signings, Paintsil was probably the for sure thing. He was the finished article. Peck is raw, but the thing is, guys, like his ceiling is really high. You saw his skills and his flicks, and he has flair. That he's the only guy on our team that has flair, I think, and that's something that, especially if you're in a playoff situation and playoff game, sometimes you need flair and individual brilliance to bail you out and win you a playoff match, and that's what we signed Gabriel Peck for, I believe, out of the 2 DPs.
Yeah, I don't know. I disagree. I'd say that Joe Pants has some flair too, but
yeah,
but,
speed. Just has breakneck speed. That's what that guy has.
I've seen some couple of things that I'm like, oh, did he do that? So for all you people that were living under a rock and didn't get to experience this roller coaster of a game, the Galaxy earned a 3-2 come from behind victory over Sporting Kansas City on the road at Children's Mercy Park on Saturday night. It was really a game of two halves. Like I said, an emotional roller coaster. It was really more a game of 70 minutes and then a last 25 minutes. It was, I heard a bunch of people, Ananda, you were one of them. Josh was another one of them that said this was the worst half, the first half in the Galaxy season. Do you guys, do you agree, Eddie, that this was the worst half in the Galaxy season?
Let me just go back to the games real quick. Worst half in Galaxies. Miami, then it was San Jose, Nashville. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you can argue that, yeah, maybe against Nashville there was a half that wasn't great.
Yeah, first half.
So I don't know. Yeah, sure. I guess you could argue, right? I'll say yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Ananda mentioned it, like in the moment, like that's got to be the worst half I've seen them play all year, and just on the I guess the totality of like one half, even against Nashville, like they didn't play like a bad first half. It was more like the second half, and then there wasn't even like an entire second half. So I mean, yeah, I think it was probably the worst half in the Galaxy season. I mean, they conceded 2 set piece goals, which we talked about on the preview pod with C Miles. That was the Galaxy's big Achilles heel, and they showed it here. Nemanja Radoja scored in the 34th minute, and William Agata scored in the 48th minute in first half injury time, which gives the Galaxy a 2-0 deficit, and everything's going wrong for them in this game. They're this really kind of out of it. And then, Greg Vanney, like Ananda said, made his substitutions. They were down 2-0 in the 71st minute, and then they scored 3 goals in the span of 8 minutes and 17 seconds, or 498 seconds per Josh. To come back from the dead, Zavaleta gets the Galaxy's first goal with the goal mouth scramble. Joveljic, he ties the record for Galaxy players with the first 5 goals for 5 games to tie it up 2-2. He gets the assist from Riqui Puig, and then big Mark Delgado, the 8-ball, scored the game-winning goal in the comeback victory. I asked you how you celebrated afterwards, Eddie, how did you celebrate Delgado's goal?
I yelled. I was by myself.
People were like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And you're like, no, just
I am absolutely lying. I didn't yell. I was I was on a phone call, and I just looked up, and I was just like keeping my cool. I think I yelled inside. Is it's what it's what happened. Yeah, and because when it happened, I was like, I knew from that moment it wasn't offside. It was like, there was no way.
It couldn't have been, right? No, there was absolutely no way. Ananda, I know you like to break this down with those good stats, and we talked about how this was a game of two halves, and you kind of have some evidence to support that.
Yeah, well, I was gonna just show you guys the match stats really quick, just to kind of wrap up the summary section. But yeah, I mean, it was a tale of two halves, and as we sort of like dive into the halves a little bit, just how horrible of a start with us. I mean, we talked about it even like after the game, Robert. It was two completely separate games. Like it was a tale of two halves, right? It felt like two different games just happened. But if you look at the stats at the end of the day, look, stats wise, other than like the shots and the shots on target, it was a pretty even game. I mean, expected goals 2.58 for Kansas City, 2.01 for the Galaxy. Obviously, with the first half like melee that Kansas City put on us, they had 26 shots, 9 on target. We ended up with 12 shots, 7 on target. But look at that, guys. Big chances again. I mean, we are leading the league now in big chances. Over Inter Miami, we had 6 big chances, and to Kansas City's 4. But again, I think this is still a room of improvement, guys. We've missed 4 big chances. I mean, if we just put, a couple of those away, we could have been even out of sight, 4 or 5. And I feel like we have this conversation, Robert, every pod where there's at least 2 or 3 big missed chances. And, when we have the day on conversation, we might talk about that a little bit. So yeah, I think pretty even game at the end, but if you look at the numbers, like it's not how it went. It was a game of two halves, completely 2 different games, and I'm just glad we came out the other side of it, the victors.
What do you guys think? I mean, because I know what my catalyst for the turnaround was, but Eddie, what do you think was the spark that lit the flame here?
Definitely the subs. The sub for Brugman. But it sounds funny, but it's like one of those things where it had to be Zabaleta, right? It's like
absolutely,
it's like it's
so misaligned. Like people coming at him all the time.
Shout out Alvaro El Zucchini Castro Zabaleta. Yeah, I heard you guys. That's hilarious.
And I think like when I don't know if you guys played, but I've been in teams where it's like when this guy that you don't expect to score or he's not the greatest player puts it in the back of the net, like you just get this feeling like all right, maybe we can do this, right? So
Si se puede.
Yeah, and I feel like that probably put something in their head, like, well, maybe this can happen. One goal at a time. If there was a bit of a luck with the ball landing there, and you don't expect the center back to take a shot like that placed on the ground, so that moment probably inspired everybody else. And I mean, even Dayon, I'm sure you're going to talk about it later, but that might have been the moment. That and obviously the Brugman sub.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was the Brugman sub. Ananda, for you?
Yeah, I think it has to be the Brugman sub. I mean, there was a lot of little moments that led up to it. There's a couple tactical things as well, but the biggest culprit was Brugman, man. Alex Ruiz, shout out, man. You put out a really good tweet just a couple hours ago. Actually, I should bring it up on the screen right now. So Alex said, by the way, go ahead and check out his tweet because he put out a really good graphic with this. Give some love to Alex, but he basically said with Brugman on the field, Puig can get more touches in the attacking half, and the responsibility of ball progression isn't all on him. And this is what I was talking about earlier, guys. I every time Riqui drops, I'm like, Riqui, like we've got to have him in that number 10 sort of attacking midfield position. You saw what he can do in that position, right? He slotted 2. Really, Dan should have 2 goals. He was offside for one of them. And this is like the Riqui that we want to see, the guy that doesn't like take it from his own penalty box and go to the other side and tries to dribble through, like Macy through 5 guys. And what we always call it hero ball, right? It's him getting to those pockets between the defense and the midfield, finding those slotted passes. And credit to Dayon, took a couple good first touches, and one of them ended up with a goal. So yeah, definitely the culprit was Gaston, man. I think he's Edwin, Cerrillo still needs to learn how to play that single pivot position. I think Gaston can do it, man. He's that experienced. He's just absolute baller as a number 6. So.
Yeah, well, we got to that point, and Gaston's substitution changed the game. But really, like I said, I mean that first half was rough to watch. I mean, the set pieces were defending on the set pieces was terrible. They were having a tough time creating because Riqui was having to drop down so far to receive the ball. They weren't dealing well with the high press either. I mean, we said it like. They just look slow to every second ball,
Yeah.
And Greg mentioned that they were rushing everything and they weren't patient, and because of that, I mean, big pockets in this midfield were appearing, and even though Johnny Russell wasn't on the field to get at the Galaxy back line and advance the ball for Sporting KC, they were still having plenty of fun just going through the Galaxy. I mean, it looked way too easy for them to get through the Galaxy press versus how much the Galaxy was having difficulty getting through their press. But like we mentioned, Gaston does come in. He comes in the 62nd. Zavaleta does get the opener to bring some belief back. And then I think, Ananda, you mentioned that 2 goals were called off, right? So there was chance creation happening. And then the 3 DPs connect to get the game winner. Jovic says post-game, great mentality. I'm not sure if you recognize that when I scored the goal to make it 2-2. Only one guy was celebrating with me, I think. Another 9 or 8 guys were not happy because it's just 2-2. So that's a big difference. I think, I'm just going to ask Eddie here. What does that say to you about the state of this team? The fact that they weren't content with that 2-2. They said, hey, let's get on with it. Let's get back to work. There's time to get a winner.
Well, that tells me that they set a big goal, right? I don't know what your guys' expectations are this season from not making to the playoffs to, what do you guys expect this season? But I think that locker room, they're dreaming big, right? So I think that's what that says. And it's easy for any team to get excited after coming back away from home to draw the game. But obviously these boys have a mission. So that's what that tells me.
Ananda, we talked about, you and I talked about banishing demons, right? How getting this win was instrumental for them to, getting that SKC demon, that bogey team off their back. The first win for the Galaxy over SKC since 2019. The mentality. Go ahead and tell me about, because we've been talking about mentality a lot. What did that show you in terms of mentality?
Just resilience. I think I even tweeted about it. I don't know exact words because I was such on a mental high at that point first from the win, but I something basically along the lines of just resilience, toughness. Those aren't things that I don't think we would, maybe even for the last 10 years, we would have said about this Galaxy team. I think there's something different, and it with all the things that happen off the pitch, guys, with all the things that happen in the front office, I think there's just a different mentality and makeup in this team. Is it going to translate into results? I'm not sure. Still TBD, right? Like, we've got a long way to go, but the signs are there. The foundations are there. We've got an incredible front office. We've got a guy that knows what he's doing. We've got a team that's, I think, if you and myself and Eddie, and like, I feel like a lot of the Galaxy fans, like, you look at this team on paper and you say, oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Like, we're putting this piece with this piece. It makes a lot of sense. I don't think we could have said that a lot in the last 10 years, right, guys, if we're honest with ourselves. So I feel like just even having
Don't you slander Doug like that, bro.
Teach me how to Dougie. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so even just that as a starting point is huge, right? And then you put on top of that just like, a couple of games ago, that video that came out with Greg about like, we've got to F and kill everyone, right? And then JP talking about this killer mentality. And I think not only are they saying the right things, I think it's showing that like togetherness, and that's huge thing, guys. Like you got to think about last year, that pressure off the field, whether you want to call it the noise or however they were perceiving it, it affected them, whether they said it or not, it affected them. Right. And so you look at it from this year now with all that stuff gone. Like I said, the talent is there. I think the desire is there, but I think the togetherness just within the locker room, it's palpable. At least to me as an outsider looking in. Rob, I know you're much closer to the team, so you can probably either feel it in the press conferences when you're in that room. I think you've told me offline too, like it just feels different. Like the press conferences feel different. Absolutely. The players feel different. The vibe is different. And I think, guys, like we're all human. We all feed off of energy. I think that's a huge part in this, man. And credit to Vanny too. Like he's so far, first six games of the season, he's been doing really well to keep that locker room focused and together. Still got to work on set pieces, but you know, time. You know, we got some things to work on, but I think the foundations, the building blocks are there, and that's the most important thing.
Speaking of Gregorio, he said post-match, when he was asked about, you know, the team's goals and their togetherness and how they were able to turn them around, he said they believe in it. They believe in each other. When we can find the right balance in our game, then we are very dangerous. Tonight, for a long stretch, we just didn't find the right balance in the game, and we can also be vulnerable if we don't. So I felt like we found it again towards the end. So the question for both of you guys is, you're right. Have the Galaxy found it? Or can we declare the Galaxy is back, Eddie?
No, I hate that question. No, absolutely not. The Galaxy is not back. I told you, I've been here since '96, and I'm telling you,
only an MLS Cup is back.
Yeah, they are not back. Not even close. You know, there's a lot of questions to be answered still, and I hate to bring some people back to reality, but it's just, you got to be a realist too. We've caught a lot of breaks. No Johnny Russell. I forget who Nashville's player was. We caught Miami on tired legs. You know, we have a lot of breaks. So there's still tests to come. Yeah, Kansas is a great test, and doing what we did away was great. But you know, we still caught a break there. So yeah, we're not back. Not yet, at least.
Okay. Softer version of the question: have they turned the mental corner?
To me,
yeah.
Follow up,
Follow up, Fred.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. They definitely have. They're you know, there's belief. This team believes in each other. Last season, even with that Johnny Russell break, there's no way they come back from a 2-0 deficit. So they definitely turned that mental corner.
You just mentioned, you know, last year they don't come back from that 2-0. So at any point during this 2-0 that you were watching, did your belief drop? Were you like, same old Galaxy, or did you have that feeling they're going to be able to pull this one out?
I thought it was done. Again, going into the game, I thought we were going to lose. When I saw Johnny Russell wasn't there, I was like, maybe. But just, you know, all those factors. I honestly, when it was 2-0, I was like, you know, I'm not surprised if it goes 3 or 4-0, because I really didn't think. That's why my word was surprising, because I really didn't see it coming. I didn't even see a draw coming. So no, I didn't think there was ever a chance we were going to come back, much less win.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't think it was going to happen myself. And then, you know, when Gaston came in and they started putting some touches together and getting out of the press a little bit better, I said, okay, well, you know, maybe they get a goal and make it respectable, right? And then, you know, they just went on a tear for 3 goals in 8 minutes to turn the game around, which prompted Tom Bogert to call the Galaxy the most watchable team in MLS. Ananda, do you agree with this one? I see Eddie shaking his head for sure.
What did he say exactly? The most watchable? Is that right?
The most watchable team in MLS.
I mean, Robert, you know,
this is a league that has Miami and Messi. So are they the most watchable team in MLS?
Well, take the star power out of it for a second, just the names, right? I mean, that's going to market itself. But if you look at it, you know, I'm a stats guy. Statistically, we are the most fun team to watch, Robert. We create the most chances. We have the most XG. We're in like we're in the top 2 or 3 in all the most of the offensive statistics, right? Even the underlying stats. So by definition, like we are, like we're, and this is the thing. I think last year, a lot of it, why, it's interesting, like because of the amount of chances that we create and because how dangerous we look on the attack, and especially with the 3Ps, right? Like, there's no way we're coming back from an 0-2 deficit this way last year because we don't create enough chances. We didn't have enough offense, and we had strikers that were not on form or they were injured for the rest of the season, right? But this year it's completely different. And I think having that offensive punch is really, really giving us more belief and hope, because even at 2-0 down, we have one of the most potent offenses in MLS, and thus probably prompting Tom Bogert to say, we're one of the most fun teams to watch. And guys, like, think about this for a second. Like, we're actually a fun team to watch now. Like, doesn't that say something? Like, to me as a fan, like, that makes me feel good, right? Like, it's fun to watch Galaxy again, right? Like, it's an emotional roller coaster, don't get me wrong, but just the fact that you're there seeing like, okay, guys, we can do this. Like, we can get a goal. Just press on them. Like, have Paintsell running down that right wing. Like, there's belief and there's like optimism and there's just like, it's just fun to watch this team again. And to me, that as a Galaxy fan, that makes me happy for sure.
Oh, I believe we have a Bryant Nags sighting in the chat.
Hey,
welcome B. Hey, thanks so much, man. A friend of the show, Bryant Nags is here in the chat. Thank you so much for visiting us. So Ananda, you mentioned a lot about fun. Eddie, is he right? Are you having fun watching this Galaxy team?
Yeah, it is fun, but I think at the same time, it's like we are like a must-watch team because there's guaranteed goals, because we also bleed goals. That makes the games entertaining, true. Right? So you could look at it that way as well. But it's definitely fun to watch. I think Paintsell has a lot to do with the fun, right? He brings the fun, and then you're getting like an unsung hero in Marquis. So. Yeah.
Oh man, that was definitely not on my Galaxy prediction card for the year.
No.
Mark Delgado being the team MVP. You know what? Even if it's not sustainable for the entire season, I mean, he's just putting up massive numbers right now, and he's being massive for the team, which is gonna bring me to my next segment here with defending the badge. We do have a winner, which Eddie Nags will reveal to us in one sec. But if you haven't had a chance to check out defending the badge yet or before, it's basically the Galaxy player of the game here, but it doesn't just go by stats on the field. It also goes by the Galaxy player who represented the team in the best way, who at the end of the day, best example that I can give you guys is last week Martin wins for that red card slide tackle, which preserves the point.
hip check.
Yeah, exactly. So he didn't score a goal. He literally laid himself out for the team, and he preserved that tie. So, guys, defending the badge isn't just about what you do on the field. It's how you represent the club and the badge. Eric Zavaleta is one of our candidates for defending the badge this week. He was asked to step in after no minutes or after no starting minutes in 5 games. He was asked to step in for Martin Cáceres. Not only did he do pretty well defensively, but he scored the team's first goal to lead that belief that the team was going to going to get something out of this game. Dejan Joveljic, he's your candidate number 2. He has 5 goals in 5 games. The Serbian striker is on fire with a goal. Next week, he would equal Jaime Moreno's MLS record for the most consecutive games with the goal scored to begin a season with 6. He's already tied Zlatan's record for most consecutive games played with a goal to begin a season with 5. So Dejan's your candidate number 2. Riqui, of course, Pretty Riqui, aka the Prince who was promised, made the MLS team of the match day bench. He notched an assist, won 3 possessions, 5 of 9 duels, and 2 of 2 tackles. Recorded a game high 3 interceptions, created 2 chances, and had an 82.4% pass accuracy rating. And the man we were talking about just a moment ago, the Magic 8 Ball, Mark Delgado, he finally made an MLS team of the match day. He is in the starting 11 there. He had the game-winning goal in a 3-2 comeback win. His stats were off the charts in this one. 2 chances created with that goal scored, an 82% pass accuracy rating, won 7 possessions. So far this season, guys, 5 goal contributions, 1 goal, 4 assists, 12 chances created, 18 tackles, 11 passes into the box, and 9 passes. After the game, he said, quite simply, filled with joy to get the W. Greg went on to say that he understands systematically what we're trying to do. And he also ended that with saying, the other thing that Mark does is he transitions the defense, he covers ground, he works and he plays at a high intensity for 90 minutes like no one else. That constantly makes him in the middle of the game, in the middle of the action, because he is right there in the game, whether it's on the defensive side or the attacking side. He's omnipresent in whatever is happening. Guys, that's your 4 defending the badge candidates. Ananda, who is your defending the badge winner? And then we'll kick it to Eddie, and then he'll give us the actual true winner.
Real quick, before I do that, chat, go ahead and put who your defending the badge is. I know we do have a winner from the people's vote, but go ahead and put your personal defending the badge in the chat while we talk about this as well. My answer might surprise you guys, and it might surprise Eddie too. I know it is. But guys, I'm giving it to Dejan Joveljic. It's funny because I went through like 2 or 3 different people. Like Robert said, defending the badges isn't just who played the best in the game. It's really about like defending the shirt, and especially against all odds, right? Coming into the season, guys, there's a lot of pressure put on Dejan. And in fact, Will Kuntz bet house money on him. He was going to be the starting striker. He had to replace Chicharito's shoes, who, as if you guys, you guys may not like it, but when he's on, Chicharito is a lethal striker, right? Unfortunately, he just injured too much, and we had to move on from him. But a lot of weight was placed on Dejan's shoes. And in this particular game, he showed me a lot of character. He showed me a lot of guts. Why? Because think about it. He had that one chance that he flubbed, right? I don't know how he did it, but he's just like little. What do we call it in pro clubs, Robert? Like the
it's a weenie shot.
Right? It's the weenie shot, right? Like the little weenie shot that you didn't press the button too long enough, right? You didn't power up the meter long enough, and he had that offside goal. And, it could have been really easy for him to hang his head down, get low on confidence, but he kept going. He kept going. And he got that goal, right? And by the way, like you and I, Robert, have criticized Dejan about his first touch. I am not going to criticize his first touch on that one. Beautiful first touch. Take it away from the defender, in between the 2 center backs, and he slotted it home. And that's a confident striker to me, man. And you know what? Like seeing that finish against, I mean, I remember his post-match conference where I think he told you guys, Robert, if you can't pronounce my last name right, I don't even listen to people that don't pronounce my last name right, kind of thing. So I don't even know how much he pays attention to what the Galaxy folks are saying or sort of what's happening outside the locker room. But you know what?
He told me this is his favorite pod. He told me.
Yeah, but Dejan looks super locked in, man, super focused, and against all odds, I'm going to give him credit. And in this game, I'm going to give him credit for being 5-5 and for just sticking with it, especially in the first half where he told you he didn't get a look in, and it could be really easy for a striker to drop his head. So no, man, Dejan Joveljic, for me, I think he deserves it.
We got one for Dejan. Eddie?
Do you want me to do my personal one, or do you want me to?
Oh yeah, your personal one for sure.
Personal first, okay.
Yeah. The people have spoken, so we'll give them the people's winner.
But it's time for you to speak. We want you to speak. Yeah.
You know what? I'm actually gonna. I had one, and then I listened to. I'm sorry. I'm stuttering on myself. I'm stuttering. Getting nervous, dude. You made me nervous because I'm stealing your answer. I like everything you said about.
Steal away,
yeah,
bro.
I like everything you said about Dejan. And I actually thought about Dejan in this game, right? Because I am a big critic of Dejan right now. I think the jury's still out. I think he definitely should have more than 5 goals. He should be leading the league. He should probably be running away with it. Like and 9. Yeah, and I don't think he was a confident striker, but I think everything that happened in this game showed that he is gaining confidence. Right, that miss that he did where he like whiffed the ball, it's terrible. That's a terrible miss. Right, a lethal striker, a confident striker does not whiff a ball like that. So when that happened, I was like, oh, here we go. And I actually predicted him to not score in this game. That's one thing I did predict. Like, this is the game where he doesn't score, because I think Vermees is smart, and he's gonna definitely get in his head. And then the offside, right? Offside, beautiful finish, a chip. Again, another reason for him to get discouraged, right? And then that, because his confidence could have took a knock, and no, instead he tries it again, and the guy doesn't go with the same thing. Maybe the goalie was expecting a chip again, and he just places it because the run was similar, and it was a great finish. It was a confident finish, like you said. It looked like a confident striker. So I think that goal could be huge. Again, the jury's still out, so we'll see how he reacts to it. And for that, yeah, he's defending the badge. He's my pick as well.
Hey, there you go, Robert. Are we gonna peer pressure into a 3 for 3? What's the deal, son?
No, you're not. You know you can't peer pressure me into stuff like that. No, I'm gonna pick Eric Zavaleta. We were at
nephew
the watch party, and yeah, I mean, we had several chants of nephew.
That's right. Right.
And you know what? I mean,
getting love
for the amount of just stick that guy was getting going into the match.
Yeah.
I mean, there were several people that were on Twitter that were bashing him before a ball had been kicked. I was even casting my doubts about it, but I think this is what, first off, we brought you guys last pod a lot about leadership on this team and who the leaders are on this team. And Greg Vanney, whether you guys want to say it's nepotism or not, but he singled out Eric Zavaleta for being one of the leaders on this team. He specifically said he doesn't see a lot of field time, but he's one of the people that are in this leadership group. I think spoke volumes that he didn't play 5 games and he immediately stepped in and stepped up for the Galaxy. Like Eddie said, when he scored that goal, it was that sense of belief, like, okay, like, we're on the right track. The person that wasn't supposed to score stepped up and scored, stepped up in that moment, gave the rest of the team, the offensive players like Dayon, Gabriel Peck, Riqui, Puig, the onus. Okay, I got you guys started. Now you guys take it and run with it. So for me, he steps up massively, not only on the defensive end, but he came up big on the offense side when it mattered to get the Galaxy going. For me, Eric Zavaleta is your defending the badge winner. However, guys, all 3 of us are wrong. That is, and that's why today I'm Mr. Got It Wrong.
Exactly.
So there is a winner as chosen by the people, and now, without further ado, by Eddie Nags.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, so I get the privilege of announcing the winner of your defending the badge this week. So 8 million people have spoken. Don't fact check that. As you guys mentioned, Dayon, Riqui, Eric, and Mark were the candidates. Dayon came in last with 18%. Eric Zavaleta came in second with 21%. Riqui Puig came out with 22%. And your winner for this week was Mark Delgado, Mr. Consistency.
Is that number 2?
Yeah, that's number 2, Robert. That's 2. That's 2 this year. Wow.
Yeah. So far he's in the lead, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's right. We're gonna keep our tallies for the end of the season for defending the badge for the year. But man, I mean, are we surprised though, guys? Are we surprised? I mean, this guy's been. I argue that he is early season MVP candidate. I mean, am I out of my mind? Like he's been playing that lights out, guys. One of the best midfielders in the league.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Actually, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I agree.
Not because he's not one of the best midfielders in the league, but because he's always been traditionally like a very, very solid like role player guy. No shade to him, he's just been one of those people that you can depend on that to go out and get you a 7 match rating every single week, just solid. Greg's called him the metronome, but then this season he's been lights out, just in producing, and he's been kind of like the walking personification of Greg's system. Like he just knows what what needs to be done. So that, I mean, yes, I am very surprised by this. But Eddie, do you think it's sustainable, or do you think, as you know, Gabriel Peck beds in, as you know, the offense gets even tighter, do you think they won't have to rely on Mark so much to be the creator?
No, I think it's quite the opposite. I think you're relying on him more because he's the one that's finding the open space. I have my thoughts about Riqui, but I think Mark is showing that
Ooh, tell us.
Oh, you want to know? So I'll
Hey,
do the
yeah.
one word. I'll do the one word for Riqui. Underwhelming.
Yeah,
It's 100% underwhelming. I think he forces a lot of hero ball, and
both
I
our
was
wives
actually
agree.
and I was actually having a conversation with Edgar today. You know, I think there's a certain work that the kid doesn't want to put in, right? I told him that he's tiny, he's really tiny, right? And then yeah, you see short players, that's fine, but he is tiny. And he came at me with you know, well, Kobe Jones was small, and I was like, hold on one second. And you know, it's usually all feelings, no facts, but this time I needed a little facts. So
Okay. You're like, let
so
me fact check them.
I went and checked, and Riqui is 5'7". Kobe Jones was 5'7", is 5'7". Riqui weighs 123 pounds.
Yeah.
123 pounds. Kobe Jones weighed 145. Right, that's huge difference at
That's
that
probably
height.
20 pounds of muscle too.
Exactly. And in his career, he weighed 145. So I think there's something up with this kid that he doesn't want to put the work in, and he probably feels like, you know, I came from here, so you know, I know better than you, right? And I don't know if you saw his comments today. I think Alex Reese put it out.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that so early in the season, you know, say like his ambition is to go back to Europe, but I'm happy here. So it was kind of like a well, you know, I want to go to Europe, but fuck it, I'll stay here, I guess, if I have to. To me, it read like that, and I didn't appreciate that.
I initially, when I read just like part of the quote, I read it like
Mhm.
that too, and I was like, ooh, that's not good to be saying. I read the entire quote in context, and he also did say that they're working on a contract extension,
Yeah.
and that
Interesting.
he couldn't replicate or the kind of feeling he's getting right now in the team, and he's not thinking about moving, but that his personal ambition is going to Europe again at some point. Again, when I read just that part of the quote, I was like, come on, Riqui, what are you doing to us, man? Like that's not cool. When I read the quote, the entire quote in context, I kind of, you know, backed myself down a little bit. But yeah, I get the sentiment. Anand and I have actually spoken about hero ball a couple times on this pod. So it's interesting. I think you're the first person to really give us like a you know, I'm not happy with Riqui opinion. So we're gonna have to marinate on that one, especially because
Yeah.
he's Ananda's wife's cousin, or
And
yeah, cousin.
and I'll give you another hot take. One, by the way, he's a pro. Your team is doing well. You don't say that. You don't allow
Right.
people to quote you and let people like us take it out of context or feel a certain way about it. You're a pro. You came from Barca. You know, you should know that too. But I got a hot take for you guys. Move him. Let him go. You know who needs minutes and who's better than him and isn't tiny. Let's go get Gio Reyna. We can make him a young DP, and you know he could be our next Donovan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not upset with that. I mean, the realistically, Riqui is good enough to get moved, like you say, and the Galaxy can make a good amount of money on him on his transfer
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I don't think his time in LA is done, but I agree with you. At some point, the Galaxy probably are going to have a decision to make. Like, okay, right now, is it the right time to move him? And yeah, I mean, we certainly, it'd be wonderful to bring in a Gio Reyna or, you know, Schnaps. I mean, let's swing for the fences and bring in the Pulisic, you know, bring him home to the States to finish his career with the Galaxy. But I mean, Ananda, I mean, you're Catalan adjacent. I mean, how do you feel about all this?
No, I think I'm just marinating on it because I think it's a really interesting take, and I think I gotta kind of just see how it plays out. But I'll say this, guys, and this is just from my familiarity with Spain and even like watching a lot of La Liga. Again, my wife's from Barcelona, so I'm pretty close to it, and I'm in Spain quite a bit. And from what I know, like especially with all the cheese man, like Marca and all that stuff there, like the one thing I do know is and Robert, you and Eddie, you guys probably know this better than me, but like in terms of Spanish players leaving Spain to sort of make a life somewhere else, whether it's in the US or the UK, it doesn't happen. It's more on the rare side. It doesn't happen so much. I think Spanish folks are very true to sort of staying in their country. It's just the culture. It's just how they are. They're just, the culture is that way. And that's the only thing I'll say. So like, even like, I'm thinking MLS, like, you have your Ia Ramendi's, you have your Victor Vasquez, even Uri Rosé to a certain point, but especially Catalans, they're very close to their family and they're very close to home. So, and again, I know we've been talking about like, or not talking about, but I've heard like, the De Gea rumors that's been floating out there for a while. Like, I just don't see stuff like that happening because again, as I said, Spanish players usually tend to stick at home or their country. So there's probably a little bit of that too. But no, I'm going to marinate on that one, Eddie. You kind of threw me for a curveball there, man. So, and I think it's an interesting take. But yeah, that's the only thing I had to add to that.
Would you dare to put a price on Riqui right now?
Oof.
Either one of you.
What are they putting Almada at right now? What's his transfer value? What were they at? What was Atlanta asking for him?
God, I've heard all kinds of figures for Thiago Almada. I've heard figures as low as 20, and then I've heard figures as high as 55. So I mean, I don't know if Almada is a good benchmark, but I'm interested with Eddie. You were the one who said, hot take, let's move him. What would you accept for him?
That's the thing though. Like what is he really worth? What has he done? What how many teams do you think are watching him right now and be like, man, we got to break the bank for this guy? Or because you also have to think about what we pay for him, right? Why did Barca let him go so easy? Why was it so cheap? If you had to put a price tag, I really don't know. It's going to be in the low. I mean, I'm thinking, I guess I'll put a cap. I'll say 11, 10 mil cap.
Yeah, I was going to say between 10 and 15.
I was thinking about 15 myself because I think he's shown that he could be, I guess, kind of like the guy that pulls the strings in the midfield here with the Galaxy. So I think if people are looking at him, it's probably like the teams in La Liga that maybe are more mid-table that need a person of his profile to play in the midfield and be that creative there. Wow, Eddie, you're gonna have me thinking about this Riqui conundrum all night, man. Unfortunately, we don't have all night, or else my wife will kill me. But really quick, guys, to leave you with standings before we get on out of here. Through 5 matches played during 2024, the Galaxy hold an unbeaten record 2-0-3 on 9 points here. Just 1 point back of Minnesota. They're second in the Western Conference. They are one of 3 unbeaten teams left in the West, one of 5 unbeaten teams in the league, and they are 6th in the Supporter Shield race with 1.8 points per game. Just 2 points from the top spot, which is Cincinnati. So that's where we are through 5 games, guys. Unbeaten. Coming up, the Galaxy had Monday off in preparation for a Seattle home match here at the Digs on Saturday, March 30th at 7:30 p.m. Eddie, this is another one of those BOGA teams for me, even though Seattle's is not doing well. Any thoughts about how this one is going to play out? Galaxy that we've seen so far, or are they going to get done in by Seattle?
The results say we should win, right? The way results are going for them, for us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just another test, right? It's like I think Schmetzer was owned Vanny for the most part, and it's there's nothing scarier than a wounded animal, right? And Seattle, I have respect for Seattle, and I'm just gonna say on the safe side, it's gonna be a draw. I hope we win, and we should win, but something's got to give in Seattle, I think, and I just hope it's not against us.
Well, you guys have heard from the man himself, Eddie Nags on a lot of different subjects today, including where he sees this team. He's definitely having fun watching this team and his thoughts on why we should sell Riqui. And wow,
Hey,
again, I'm gonna
don't be
thinking
spreading
about,
cheese, man. Now, don't be spreading cheese, man. That's not what
I
he
mean,
said.
I'm sitting here just like, wow, I really got to break this one down, and then like, and then see all the things that go into it, like Nanda said, like, what approximate other players have been going for. But yeah, I mean, you threw me on that one. So, but that's what I love about bringing guests on, is that Ananda and I, talk about the Galaxy all the time, and then when we bring guests on, we get different viewpoints that him and I don't come up with. Certainly because he's in Ricky's family, and then I just love the Little Prince way too much. So, but Eddie, before we get on out of here, tell the folk where they can find you if you do want them to find you, and then let them know where they can catch news across the galaxy.
I am off the grid, so you can't find me. But follow News Across the Galaxy on all social media. I think is really important for everyone to support all independent Galaxy content creators. Make sure to follow everyone. If you're not subscribed to Lacuna Galaxiana, make sure to like, subscribe, share. Make sure you get other ears on it, and everyone else, because this stuff is work, right? We take part of our day. Nobody pays us, and we do it because we love it. And we hope that you guys love what we do with what everybody else does. So yeah, make sure to just look for every Galaxy content out there and follow them and subscribe to their channels. It always helps. So that just go with that.
Robert, you do know I signed Eddie Nags to a 7-day minimum TAM contract that could be extendable as our VP of Public Relations. I mean, that was an amazing advertisement.
Only 10 days. I'm already upset that it's only 10 days, man. Like, sign them up, man. I mean, you're always talking about breaking the bank and getting on pupusas, bro. Like, come on, sign them up.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot his signing bonus was an undisclosed amount of pupusas. That's right.
Shout out After, by the way. Support After as well. Ananda, anything else to say before we get on out of here?
No, man. Just wanted to say thanks so much, Eddie. Just taking the time out of your evening. I know you got a lot going on, so I really appreciate you, man. And like I said, I appreciate you throwing me that curveball with Riqui. I'm a marinate on that one, brother, and I'm gonna get back to you on that, because like I said, that one threw me for a loop for sure. We might even bring that up next pod. And thank you, chat, as always. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. I know it's a little bit late, went a little overtime, but when we have an awesome guest on, these conversations do get fun and they do get long. So thanks again for sticking it with us, guys. And man, I'm getting back to you, Robert. We got this Seattle. There's another bogey team. We're gonna do that preview, I think, Thursday. So stay tuned for that. And let's see if we can keep this unbeaten streak, huh?
Estás correcto, mi amigo Ananda. We do have a Thursday preview pod on the 28th at 9 p.m. with special guests from Sounders at Heart, Nico Moreno and Jeremiah Oshan. Thank you to our special guests from today, Eddie Nags. Thank you so much, man, for coming on. And you know what? I'm going to make sure Ananda extends that contract for you so you get what you deserve. Again, man, thank you so much for being on and for, being there, when it was just the bleak winter and there was nothing out there, man. So thank you for being one of those pioneers. And I think that pretty much covers it, guys. You know where to find this pod, youtube.com at Lacuna Galaxiana. And then, I think there's only one thing left to say. G's up.